After 41 years, top-flight football returned to the Valley in glorious fashion. The occasion was a Premiership home debut for Alan Curbishley's playoff heroes against Southampton. Coming up, all the highlights from an historic day at the Valley. Action from the 5-goal thrashing of the Saints coming up then. But first we pay tribute to the man who led Charlton back to the big time. Alan Curbishley has been at the club for a total of 11 years, the last 7 as manager. Fitting then that Curbishley was rewarded with a testimonial match days before the big kick-off. Scottish Premier League side Hearts, the opponent of the Valiants. A bumper crowd paid their tribute and the gaffer received a magnificent reception from the players and the fans. Armed with the First Division Manager of the Year award, recognition for his brilliant achievement in guiding the club to the Premiership, Curbishley took centre stage. More mementos followed, including gifts from both clubs, Hearts adding their own appreciation, a nice touch by the Scottish FA Cup winners. Not only was it a day to pay tribute to one of the club's greatest servants, this was a day to celebrate a memorable playoff victory in one of the all-time Wembley epics. A day for the players to savour the fans' applause at the Happy Valley. On view at the Valley for the first time were Curbishley's summer signings. Neil Redfearn, a £1 million man from Barnsley, the club's big money arrival since winning promotion to the Premiership. Chris Powell, an £825,000 buy from Derby, is Charlton's second most expensive buy of the summer. Curbishley's managerial skill has been the way he's assembled a successful squad on a shoestring. Andy Hunt, a free transfer from West Brom, his bargain pre-season acquisition. Meanwhile, also on display, of course, the players who put Charlton back among the elite of English soccer. In the second half, it's the established Charlton heroes who have the biggest influence on proceedings, as Curbishley's men battle to retrieve a 1-0 deficit. 5 minutes from time, young starlet Scott Parker finally claimed Charlton's equaliser, seconds after coming on as a late sub. A super finish that made the final score 1 goal apiece. It had proved a useful pre-season warm-up for the Valiants, as well as a good way to pay tribute to the First Division's Manager of the Year. His attention's now firmly on the Premiership task ahead. A goalless draw at Newcastle will get Charlton off the mark in the Premiership. A brilliant effort after Richard Rufus was harshly sent off after 25 minutes, but that was nothing compared to what happened next.
And welcome to the Valley for this afternoon's FA Premier League match between Charlton Athletic and Southampton. This is the first top-flight match to be played at the Valley since 1957, although Charlton and Southampton have met more recently at the top level between 1986 and 1990 in the old First Division, when Charlton, of course, were playing at Selhurst Park. The last game between these two sides was at Adele in April 1990, a game the Saints won 3-2. I think Neil Ruddock was among the scorers that day, if memory serves me correctly. But you have to go back to September 76, the last time the Southampton side visited the Valley, a match which Charlton won 6-2 against the then FA Cup holders. There's the Charlton record signing, Neil Redfearn, in your picture now, signed from Barnsley in the close season for £1,045,000. Charlton fans will be hoping that Redfearn will get forward this afternoon in very much the same fashion he did for Barnsley last season when he scored so many goals. And there in your picture is Richard Rufus, who of course only lasted 25 minutes of his Premier League debut last week before being sent off against Newcastle in the match at St James's Park. Several balloons on the pitch from Charlton's pre-match entertainment, but it's almost 3 o'clock now. It's about to get underway. FA Premier League football returns to London SE7 for the first time in 41 years. Southampton will kick off with Mark Hughes and Egil Ostenstad, and it's underway now. This is Ripley. Forward, looking for Ostenstad. Rufus is a defender, and Ilic claims for Charlton. Up towards Hughes. First touch was a bit sloppy, and it comes now for Chris Powell. Near side for Charlton, into Mendonca. The touch for Redfearn. Redfearn might strike it. Redfearn does strike it. Good save by Jones. And cleared away by Lundekvam as Andy Hunt closed in for Charlton. That's the first opportunity of the match, and it went Charlton's way. Neil Redfearn striking from midfield. Jones making a fine save to his right-hand side, and it was Lundekvam that got it out of the danger area. Swung long downfield. It's a long kick by Paul Jones. And it drifts into the arms harmlessly there to Charlton's Australian-Serbian goalkeeper, Sasa Ilic. Quite a mixture there. Ilic on a very good run of league clean sheets. 7 consecutive clean sheets in the league last season to finish with, and of course 1 last week, making it 8 in a row. That's a Charlton record. Here's Hunt. Newton swings the ball in. Mendonca and Dodd battling away. Falls for Robinson. The strike comes in. Oh, and it's there! John Robinson claims the honour of Charlton Athletics' first goal in the FA Carling Premiership. Charlton fans have waited a long time for this moment, and it's Welsh international winger John Robinson who picked up the ball as it broke free as Mendonca challenged Jason Dodd, and his shot was cracked with the right foot, and it crept in on the near post. Paul Jones just got a hand to it, but it went on off the post, and Charlton Athletic have the lead with just 4 minutes played. John Robinson giving Charlton the lead. Charlton 1, Southampton 0, so a bad start for the Saints, who of course got off to a good start against Liverpool in the match at the Dell last week when Ostenstad opened the scoring. But that has only contributed to the carnival atmosphere here at the Valley this afternoon. The Charlton fans have made quite a bit of noise at the Valley in recent seasons, and that's offside, I think, against, was it Ostenstad? Referee Rob Harris decided to play on. I don't think it was Palmer that was offside, it might have been Ostenstad. But that really has lifted the Valley. Perhaps that's what this game needed. 2 sides who obviously got off to indifferent starts last week, and now a goal has really brought this match to life. Mills. Redfearn got in there in front of the Southampton midfield player Matthew Oakley. It'll come down for Powell. And now Redfearn bursting forward. Will he keep it in? He'll just concede a throw in as Matthew Oakley tracked him back there. Jason Dodd with the throw in towards Ripley. The touch off will only find Kinsella. Now it's with Rufus. Looks like a little nudge in the back there by Richard Dryden, but he got away with that one on Andy Hunt, the former Bristol City defender there, Dryden. And Ostenstad just offside. It must have been a very close thing. Flag coming up on the lines from the linesman. on this near side. Ostenstad, of course, the scorer in the game at the Dell last week for Southampton. In fact, he was quite a few yards offside there, Egil Ostenstad. Ilic driving the ball forward. Hunt gets the flick, didn't fall for Mendonca. This will fall for Ostenstad. But Mendonca now picking up the loose ball in midfield, freeing Robinson on this near side for Charlton. Jason Dodd is a defender. Chris Powell is making great strides on the left-hand side, and Robinson's found him. Powell drives it in. Redfearn arriving at the far post, and it's going to be a goal. No, it's not going to count. It won't count. It is offside against Andy Hunt, and I wonder what would have happened had Andy Hunt just let that ball roll in, because I think he was definitely in an offside position when he knocked it over the line. But Redfearn seemed to have done enough. But that is a let-off for Southampton. A good move for Charlton there. Andy Hunt, the player, offside, and I wonder what would have happened had he not touched it over the line. I wonder if Redfearn would have scored and the goal would have stood. But as a result, it's a let-off for Southampton. And I wonder what Dave Jones is thinking as Carlton Palmer tries to get on the end of that flick from Ostenstad. Dave Jones, a Southampton boss in his second season at the Dell, had a tremendous year in his first year after coming from Edgeley Park, where he of course was the boss at Stockport County. They had a magnificent couple of seasons, winning promotion and reaching the semi-finals of the Coca-Cola Cup before he moved to the Dell and brought Paul Jones, the goalkeeper, with him. Now it's Mendonca. Mendonca holding off one challenge, two challenges, and swinging it out from this near side for Robinson. Dodd, the defender. Ripley is back at him as well. Powell is bringing up the rear. Hunt swings it into Robinson, in towards Newton, and Newton has some space now. If he can get the cross in, this could be dangerous, and it comes in towards Andy Hunt, and it's off the line almost. And now Powell finding Robinson. Charlton still on the attack. Chris Powell showing good touch into Hunt rather, and it's in there. Oh, it's off the foot of Keith Jones. And it's a corner. Redfearn stole into the box unnoticed from this driven ball by Hunt, and it just clipped off Paul Jones' heel. And in all fairness, Southampton have got to thank Paul Jones there, but it could really have been 2-0 and possibly 3-0 had the Hunt effort been allowed in the first instance. Charlton bringing the game to their opponents. Kinsella swings it in. Jones fisting it away. Robinson will get there first and will let it run out of play on this near side. But Charlton, in their first ever Premier League game at home, are looking well up for this game. They don't appear to be overawed at all by the quality and the class of the Southampton side. Hunt trying to get Kinsella into it. Mendonca wins the challenge from Ripley. Now Powell. Robinson taking on Dodd, but Carlton Palmer will get there to tidy up, the former England player. Getting a bit of stick from the Charlton crowd, but this will fall for Kinsella. Now Kinsella's got a shot on him, and Kinsella drives one in, but it was always swinging away from Paul Jones' goal. But that just shows Charlton playing with a good degree of confidence. But I'm sure that the Charlton boss, Alan Curbishley, will be anxious for his side to take advantage of this early pressure. 19 minutes played, Charlton Athletic 1, Southampton 0. Redfearn hooks it forward. Looked like a foul from Dryden, but Kinsella finding Newton there with a nice touch. Newton now swinging it out to John Robinson. Robinson's got an awful lot of the ball in this first half, and look at Powell again making the overlap. Robinson this time using it as a decoy, trying to burst into the box, looking for the chip for the far post. Not quite good enough from John Robinson. I think he rather got caught in two minds there. He was looking to possibly play Powell in and realised that that run had been blocked by, I think, Carlton Palmer. So he cut inside and swung the cross in to the far post, but it just swung over the goal. But John Robinson is the goal scorer. His goal separates the two sides after 20 minutes here at the Valley. So Charlton have a throw. Mills deep into the box. Youds looked like he caught. Who was that? Was that Lundekvam? No, it's Richard Dryden, I think. Yeah, just took a bit of a whack there from Youds. Don't think there was much malice there, but certainly Dryden coming out worse off with a bit of a blow to the head there. Charlton manager Alan Curbishley there in your picture. He'll no doubt be very pleased with the way the first 35 minutes have gone in this game, although, as I said earlier, he might have hoped that his side had perhaps pressed home their advantage a little better. Charlton certainly the dominant team in terms of possession, but just with this slender one-goal lead given them by John Robinson. Paul Jones making a couple of very good saves, in particular from Redfearn, and Redfearn perhaps a little unlucky to have a goal chalked out when Andy Hunt stabbed it over the line from an offside position. So Charlton deservedly in front, but Southampton will no doubt make a challenge later in this game. We've only had 35 minutes, 10 minutes to go before half time, as Mills gets a free header, and Dryden heading it back into Charlton territory. Lundekvam finding Ostenstad. Ostenstad closed down by Mills and Youds. It'll be a throw-in to Southampton, far side. Hiley with the throw. Ostenstad looking to turn. Hunt getting it away. Now it's with Newton. It's gone out far side. Here's Jason Dodd. Thought for a minute he was going to have a crack there. Now Carlton Palmer making a run forward. Here is Palmer looking for Hughes. Can he find Hughes? Can he perhaps get a shot on himself? And will it run for Palmer? No, it won't. It'll run instead for Mark Kinsella, who gets it away. And Charlton defending in numbers there, and they had to because Southampton looked dangerous. There's plenty of space now for Hiley. On a poor pass from Palmer, and here goes Mills. Mills with good pace, and Mills trying to get away from Oakley, and Mills battling away. What a great run from the right back now. Can he get the cross in? Maybe it'll fall for Redfearn, and that was miscued badly by Neil Redfearn. But what a terrific run by Danny Mills. In truth, it was a very poor pass from Carlton Palmer, but Mills picked it up some 30 yards off his own goal line and ran the length of the field before laying it into the path of Redfearn. And on a better day, that might have tested Paul Jones, but good pressure there from Charlton, getting it forward once again. Danny Mills, a £350,000 signing from Norwich City in March of this year. He made his debut for Charlton at Crewe and scored in a 3-0 victory, scoring after just 2 minutes, in fact, in that 3-0 victory for Charlton at Gresty Road. Free kick to the Addicts. Klaus Lundekvam is the player penalised, and I think there's going to be a caution. Yes, indeed, there'll be a booking for Jason Dodd. He's obviously spoken out of turn to the referee, Rob Harris. And that'll be a yellow card for Jason Dodd. Now, Kinsella and Redfearn over this. It's an awful long way out to have a crack at goal, but 35 yards, maybe 40 yards. Both of them can strike it, but in fact it'll go to Powell. He's going to swing it in towards Youds, far post. Dryden doing well. Charlton will get the throw. Mills will look to swing the corner in, rather swing the throw in. And there's a bit of pushing and shoving in the box there, and it will be Eddie Youds who's penalised or not. Is it going to be another throw? Well, I'd like to see that again. It's going to be a throw-in. I'm not quite sure what Rob Harris saw, but before the ball was in play, he stopped it, and now Charlton get another chance with Mills. And now Redfearn to swing it in towards Mendonca. Well, Jason Dodd had to watch that very closely. Ripley getting it away from Robinson now. Robinson tackling back, and Powell tackling back, and Robinson getting a foot in. And that's typical of Charlton's play there. Hunt now on the edge of the box, trying to turn. It'll come rather kindly for Robinson. In towards Mendonca. Can he turn? Oh, he can almost turn, and was blocked. He was looking for a penalty, but in all fairness, obstruction was possibly the best he could have hoped for there. Youds with the header, only as far as Ripley. Southampton have got a lot of bodies forward. Carlton Palmer finding Hiley. Mills getting in early there though. Kinsella swings it forward. Mendonca will give chase, but Lundekvam is the favourite. And Paul Jones showing admirable confidence there to sweep it out to Jason Dodd on the near side here, but it's a poor ball from Dodd. Hunt now collecting it, finding Redfearn. Charlton getting forward yet again. This is Robinson. And this is Powell. Charlton retaining possession. Kinsella. Powell finding Robinson. Robinson trying to take on Jason Dodd. Kinsella sends it forward. Dodd getting in there. And Newton just getting the foot in front of Scott Hiley. Now Southampton with a chance to get it in towards Ostenstad. And that wasn't a particularly good pass, I thought, rather there by number 8 Matthew Oakley. It rather gave Ostenstad a lot of work to do. So there's just a couple of minutes to go before half time, and Charlton still with this slender lead. Well, Hunt battling away with Jason Dodd. Lundekvam keeps it in. And Sean Newton now with a little bit of space. Into Mendonca, trying to find Redfearn. Charlton just not quite getting it right in the final third there. Hughes trying to find Palmer. Palmer steps away from one, now two challenges. Bangs it out on the near side here to Ripley. Now this is better from Southampton. Ripley taking on Powell. And Powell stood up well. And Youds stepped in to help his teammate out. And clips it downfield to Mendonca. He holds off Lundekvam. He gets it into Redfearn. Oakley stepped in. Charlton have the throw. Here's Newton for Charlton, bursting forward. Oh, and it's a foul, surely. Yes, that's a foul. Charlton fans don't like it, but certainly a foul. Newton just grabbed hold of Southampton 18 there, Wayne Bridge. Just swung him round. Well, but maybe he did slip. Kinsella gets in. That's a loose pass. It will fall for Mendonca, and now Hunt bringing it away. Hunt making strides through the middle of the field now, finding Robinson near side. Robinson now against Jason Dodd. He will cut in on his right hand side, will he? He will, to try and make space. Dodd got a very good block in there. It'll fall for Palmer. Palmer trying to stretch those legs, but Kinsella and Powell combining. And Charlton are working very hard indeed to maintain this 1-goal advantage. And that's going to fall for Mendonca, and he's kept it in just. Now it's with Robinson, and now it's with Hunt, and now Chris Powell. Good stuff from Charlton. In towards Newton. It might fall for Redfearn, it might fall in fact for Kinsella. Shaping for the drive. Good block from Oakley. Mills sends it forward. Hiley with the header. And Charlton retain possession yet again. Mendonca sending in Redfearn. Now what can Redfearn do? Can he get through? Great tackle there by Scott Hiley. Surely Redfearn would have gone on to score. Scott Hiley with an excellent challenge on the edge of his box. But Charlton breaking strongly from midfield yet again. Now Ripley on the chase with Powell. Powell just doing enough. Chris Powell was Charlton's record signing for about 3 days. 825,000 was the fee that brought him to the Valley from Derby, but of course Redfearn's move from Barnsley made him the most expensive player in Charlton's history. Dodd sweeps it forward. Palmer at the back stick. Might fall for Ostenstad. Kinsella hooking it clear. Oakley heading it on. Mills gets it away. Hughes now battling with Youds, and that's a bad place to give a free kick away. Charlton now will be anxious not to concede at this time. There are 2 minutes of stoppage time already played, in fact, and Charlton now have to defend from a free kick. Hughes showing all his experience there to win that free kick in the tussle with Eddie Youds. So we've had 2 minutes of time added on as Charlton now form a wall. Ilic, the goalkeeper, will want to get a good look at this. Ostenstad is over it. So too is Carlton Palmer. Jason Dodd can strike them. Could they roll it for Dodd? Could it be Oakley? Palmer and Ostenstad over the ball. And the referee is going to have to get on with it. It'll come for Ostenstad. It's a poor effort from Ostenstad. He possibly scuffed his shot there, but that really is a poor effort from possibly Southampton's best position of the game so far, and one that the Saints fans watching down at the Dell will be none too impressed with. Ostenstad there caught offside, and I'm sure Dave Jones, the Southampton boss, will have been far from impressed at that effort from his Norwegian centre forward. That really was a poor effort, and he'll have lots to say, no doubt, at half-time. 1-0 Charlton lead in this, their first home game in the top division of English football here at the Valley for 41 years. Hunt was almost held. It might fall for Mendonca, and that is indeed the last action of the first half. A very lively opening to this game. We saw Charlton taking the lead after just 4 minutes through John Robinson, their Welsh international winger, and in all fairness, Charlton went on to dominate the early stages of this match. Andy Hunt having a goal disallowed as he touched Neil Redfearn's drive over the line, and then Paul Jones making a super save from Neil Redfearn as the Charlton midfield player broke through into the box. So Charlton now attacking the goal to our right. Andy Hunt getting the ball in for Mendonca. Jones making the save, it'll fall for Redfearn! 2-0 to Charlton. 15 seconds of the second half played, and Charlton attacking right from the start. And Neil Redfearn gets what might be referred to as his just desserts. He had a couple of opportunities in the first half. He needed no second chances in the second half. Andy Hunt with a cross. Mendonca got the shot in. Jones making the save, and Redfearn reacting the quickest there. In all fairness, you have to say Southampton's midfield players there rather dallied. Matthew Oakley stood and watched, and Redfearn stepped in to give Charlton their second goal of the game. A long way back for Southampton now. John Robinson's had an eventful game, scoring Charlton's first Premier goal of the season and then getting booked and being in a constant tussle with Dodd. Here's Mendonca trying to turn away from Dryden. Now it's with Robinson. Charlton on the attack once again. Now Robinson's got the better of Dodd for the first time possibly. Dryden getting it away, no foul there. Ostenstad flicking it on, but there's no one there for Southampton. Here's Kinsella and Powell. Mendonca holds off Lundekvam. Robinson sending Powell in. Charlton building again. Hunt with a drive! And just wide from Andy Hunt, but once again from Charlton. Good link-up play. Another good attempt. And you wouldn't really have thought that this Charlton side had no Premier League experience. In actual fact, really only Redfearn and Powell with any genuine experience at the top level. A handful of games for Youds and a handful of games for Hunt some years ago, but really only two Charlton players have played at this level, but you wouldn't have thought so from this rather measured and controlled attacking performance from Charlton this afternoon. And I wonder whether this is more of the midfield that the Southampton fans were expecting. Howells and Tissier in alongside Ripley and Palmer. Looks a bit more of a potent attacking force now. And Southampton need something up front now because they're two behind and they have yet to trouble Charlton keeper Ilic. The drive that they had in the opening sort of 20-30 minutes of the game at the Dell last week against Liverpool, missing so far. Jason Dodd now finding Howells, looking at the far post for Palmer, down towards Ostenstad. The chance now for Ostenstad, and Charlton took their time before getting it away, but they did get it away, and now they bring it away with Robinson. Oh, Newton's got lots of space if Redfearn can find it. Redfearn going for the drive, and Jones making the save. It took a deflection, and Paul Jones concedes the corner. Charlton's second corner of this second period. Robinson cut inside there, found Redfearn. Redfearn got the drive in, it deflected off a Southampton boot, and it's another corner for Charlton. Kinsella swings it into the far post. Rufus is jumping, took it away from Youds in fact. Ripley now gets it away. Up towards Hughes. Ostenstad in lots of space in the near side now. Here's Tissier. Tissier taking on the Charlton defenders. Little run for Ostenstad. Hiley backing him up if he can find him. Mills concedes the throw. Here's Howells in towards Palmer. Good header from Youds. Now Jason Dodd, he can strike them from here. Ripley twisting and turning. Hiley is in support. In towards Palmer. The flick on towards Ostenstad. The flag stayed down. Mendonca there, man just in your picture, who of course his hat-trick at Wembley helped Charlton to their Premiership status against Sunderland in May. And now this might fall for Youds. Still Youds battling. Might now fall for Redfearn, but Dodd gets it away, only as far as Robinson. Robinson swings it in, it'll fall now for Rufus, and now maybe it'll come for Redfearn. The drive is over the bar. Good pressure from Charlton. Southampton couldn't get it away, and those Charlton fans will be very pleased at what they've seen so far in this opening 63 minutes of this game. Redfearn's drive well over the bar, to be fair, but another shot at goal for Paul Jones to cope with as we have another substitution taking place. Egil Ostenstad is the player who's going to be replaced by James Beattie. Number 16, James Beattie coming on. Ostenstad is the player that is replaced, and it's been an unhappy afternoon for Ostenstad. Here's Palmer. And now Newton. Mendonca's away here, Mendonca's in, Mendonca's over, that's a penalty, and I wonder if the goalkeeper could be in trouble. Mendonca is hurt, but I'm sure he'll be back on his feet. Now what will Rob Harris do? The Charlton fans are making their feelings clear. I think he went for the ball, it's a red card, it's a bit harsh. Paul Jones is off, and Clive Mendonca was through, Lundekvam lost it in the sun. Mendonca got away from him, there was a bit of pushing and shoving. Mendonca went round the goalkeeper. Well, I think Paul Jones was going for the ball, and I think he can count himself very unlucky indeed. Unquestionably a penalty, but for Jones to be sent off is perhaps a little harsh. There's going to be another caution here. I think Lundekvam is going to be cautioned, and Southampton do not appear to have a reserve keeper on the bench. And there is confusion reigning at the Valley here as the former Spurs player David Howells dons the goalkeeper's jersey as Paul Jones heads for the tunnel. Very unhappy man, and it will be David Howells going in goal to face this penalty kick from Clive Mendonca. Clive Mendonca scored 28 goals for Charlton last season after his £700,000 transfer from Grimsby. And he waits patiently while David Howells dons the keeper's jersey. The Charlton fans waiting expectantly, and Mendonca is usually very cool from the penalty spot. He won't be bothered by this wait. And Howells now steps forward. I wonder what Dave Jones is thinking now. He must be very upset indeed. So now Mendonca up against David Howells. Mendonca steps up. It's 3-0. Clive Mendonca scores for Charlton, and the 3 points look to be heading to London SC7. And those Charlton fans will be in fantasy land tonight. A 0-0 draw at Newcastle last week, and now what appears, with just 24 minutes of the second half remaining, to be a comfortable victory against Southampton. It's not looking good for the Saints. And now Mills trying to get the cross in. It'll go off Hiley, and it will be Charlton's third corner of the second half. It really has gone very terribly wrong for Dave Jones this afternoon. Up down to 10 men. David Howells, the midfield player, in goal, and 3-0 down with just 22 minutes remaining. Robinson with the corner. Low driven, poor corner. Beattie gets it away. Kinsella on the charge. Oh dear. Now that really was a very silly foul by James Beattie, and there's a little bit of a fracas which I think the referee's got to develop, rather to sort out. Beattie's walking away. I think he's going in the book. Le Tissier getting involved. I don't even think that Matthew Le Tissier's contribution is going to help his young teammates. Kinsella had one eye on the ball, and Beattie Well, there really was no need for that. The ball was only ever going out of play on this near touchline, and the Southampton man goes in the book. Kinsella is ready to resume play. Newton drives it in, Mendonca with the header. I think it was Jason Dodd got the block on, and Hunt could be in here. Hunt could be in here! No, it won't count! It isn't Andy Hunt's day. It really isn't. He had one chalked off in the first half, and he's had another one chalked out there. Poor Andy Hunt. He must be wondering what he's got to do to score. Newton swept the ball in. There was a bit of head tennis in the box, and when it fell to Hunt, was he offside? Difficult to tell from that replay. Well, I think the referee may have penalised Hunt for handball, which would have been very harsh indeed. But it doesn't count, and it's still 3-0. Good ball from Hughes inside to Ripley, inside the fullback, and oh, Ripley really just took his eye off it there. The former England winger took his eye off it. As Charlton prepare to make that substitution, Paul Mortimer is the man who's coming on. Sean Newton is the man who's going off, to a rapturous ovation from the Charlton supporters. Not really much of a surprise in that respect. So this will see John Robinson switch to the right-hand side and Paul Mortimer slot in on the left-hand side for Charlton. And here's Rufus, striding through the centre of the defence there, trying to find Mendonca, and it almost reached him, but Rufus is going to get in now. Mendonca with a chance to make it 4. Surely Mendonca. It's 4-0 to Charlton. Clive Mendonca. Well, Southampton have been routed here at the Valley this afternoon, and who would have predicted this? Charlton Athletic 4, Southampton 0. 4 points from their first 2 games back in the big time. And Richard Rufus really had so much space there. He found, or tried to find, Mendonca. The Southampton players got in something of a muddle, and Mendonca stepped inside Dryden and just nudged it past David Howells. It's 4-0 to Charlton, and it's dreamland for the Charlton fans. Clive Mendonca, 28 goals last season, including a hat-trick at Wembley, and 2 already this season. He's off the mark for Charlton. Super Clive Mendonca makes it 4-0 to Charlton. Mills, rather an aimless ball forward to Lundekvam, and now Hughes. And now Dryden. Forward to Beattie, and it runs through to Ilic as we move into stoppage time at the end of this fixture at the Valley. Charlton 4, and could it be 5? Oh, it could be 5. Clive Mendonca has a hat-trick, and Charlton have wrapped up their first ever top division match in London SC7 with a 5-0 victory, and Clive Mendonca, who scored a hat-trick at Wembley to get Charlton promoted, has announced his arrival in the Premiership with a hat-trick against Southampton. It's Charlton Athletic 5, Southampton 0. Mendonca has another match ball for his collection. Well, what will we get? What will it have to be to get a smile out of Alan Curbishley? I think certainly everyone else at the Valley, with the exception of the 740 Southampton fans and Dave Jones, is very happy at what they've seen. And Charlton are on the attack yet again with Robinson. Surely it can't be any more. Now Keith Jones. Jones with a drive and Howells with a save. Well, this really is carnival time at the Valley for Charlton. No way could they have expected this. 4 points and 5 goals from the first 2 games in the Premier League, and 2 clean sheets. And I imagine there are several dejected fans in that group of Southampton supporters, and there's one young man who is facing a long journey back to the south coast this afternoon. Here's Hughes. He won't be accustomed to losing 5-0, nor will Tissier. Oh dear. And that just sums up Southampton's performance. And now Hunt, Robinson's in the overlap. If Hunt can find him, Hunt goes all the way. Great save. David Howells, what a super save. And Charlton think they've got a corner, but Rob Harris has given a goal kick. And I think perhaps he's being a little sympathetic to Southampton, but nothing should be taken away from David Howells, who made a splendid save. Make no mistake about that, Hunt's drive was arrowing towards the right-hand corner before Howells got round to push it round the post. But Rob Harris gives Southampton the benefit of the doubt. He's not made himself very popular with the Charlton fans just at the end, but I don't think they'll be too upset. Charlton are preparing another substitution, I think, but I wonder whether it's Steve Jones and whether or not he'll actually have time to get on the field. Ripley sending the cross in, Ilic with a comfortable catch. And here's Robinson, bringing it forward for Charlton. Mortimer with lots of space. Robinson tried to pick him out, and Mortimer could keep it in. But can Powell keep it in? He can. And here's Mortimer. Charlton going in search of a sixth. Redfearn. Robinson's got lots of space if Redfearn can find him. Redfearn's looking for Robinson. And Hughes bundles the Charlton man over. And Charlton have a free kick, which they take quickly. It's now with Robinson. We've played 48 minutes of this second half. Robinson sweeps it in towards Hunt. But now for Powell. Powell heading for the touchline. Couldn't get it across. Can Powell win the corner? It doesn't matter. It's all over here at the Valley. It's been a magnificent return to the top flight for Charlton Athletic. After that 0-0 draw at Newcastle last week, they have come to the Valley in their first home game for 41 years in the Premier Division in the finest possible style. John Robinson gave Charlton the lead after 3 minutes, and Charlton had a goal disallowed to Andy Hunt and forced Paul Jones to make several more saves in that first half. And the game was effectively over 15 seconds into the second half when Neil Redfearn doubled the lead to give Charlton a 2-0 advantage. But then it all went wrong for Southampton. Mendonca was brought down by Paul Jones and stepped up to take the penalty against sub-keeper David Howells after Jones had gone off. Then Mendonca added 2 more to give the scoreline a surreal look. Charlton having 2 goals chalked off, but it's still finished here in the Valley. Charlton Athletic 5, Southampton 0.
Neil, what a truly incredible afternoon.
Yeah, a fantastic performance by the boys. You know, I think we're really up for today. It's a big day, obviously, for the club, and we wanted to give a good account of ourselves. And to be honest, you know, from the first minute when their keeper made a great save, you know, we never let them off the hook.
What had Alan Curbishley told you beforehand? You seem to be so positive in going about your work.
Yeah, it was just all the stress really was just working for one another and watching one another's backs. You know, if somebody made a run forward, it was important that people filled in. And I thought the team play today was out of the top draw. And
your forward, Clive Mendonca, he had an afternoon to remember, didn't he?
Oh, fantastic. I don't think he wanted the game to end, to be honest. I think he'd have been scoring now if he'd have been still playing. But, you know, Clive's capable of them things. He's got great touch, good awareness. And obviously, you know, goal scorers is a natural thing, and Clive's got it.
Clive, you waited a long time to play in the Premiership. What a opening game at home.
Yeah, I mean, that's our first game at home this season, and 5-0. I thought the lads were absolutely magnificent today, and it was a great team performance and a great result for us.
You've been very modest. What about your performance, your hat-trick?
Yeah, I mean, I was happy with it, was really delighted really, but on a personal note, I'm just delighted I played 90 minutes because I've missed most of pre-season. I was out for like 3 weeks, I had a back injury, and that's my first 90 minutes under my belt today, so really I can only improve on that.
So you weren't even 100% fit today?
No, not really, to tell the truth. I was struggling a bit towards the end, but as I say, I'm glad I got 90 minutes in, and it was really pleasing to get a hat-trick.
Charlton obviously thoroughly deserved the victory. There was a bit of a contentious issue when they had their goalkeeper sent off, and the penalty that you scored made it 3-0 and virtually finished the game. How did you see those sequence of events?
Well, I think it was just a ball over the top, and I just got there in front of the centre half, and I've just gone to take around the keeper, and I thought he brought us down. Just as simple as that, really. And the laws nowadays, if that happens, usually the keepers get sent off. But I mean, nobody likes to see it happen, but just that's the way it is. I
know it's early days, but from what you've seen at Newcastle, from what you've seen today, I presume there's nothing to scare you at all in the Premiership.
No, I mean, it's a great result for us today, but we're not getting carried away. Keep our feet on the ground. We've got like some odd games coming up, but I mean, we've had a very good start. I mean, it was a good result for us at Newcastle, nils each, 3 points today. So, I mean, hopefully we can just carry on from here. So
many people had written you off before the start. Had that been a motivating factor at all?
Yeah, I mean, the bookies have got us favourites to go down, and as you say, most people will write us off. But Charlton made a good little team, and I mean, especially at home, I think we'll give most teams a good game. So, I mean, we just give it our best shot and see what happens.
Alan, we said before kick-off there might be a party atmosphere. You certainly added to that, didn't you?
Well, I knew the atmosphere was going to be terrific, and we certainly got the start we needed. But to play like that and to eventually win 5-0 is obviously beyond our wildest dreams. But when you see the way we played, perhaps not so.
What did you tell them beforehand?
Well, I just said that the main thing is I knew we'd get carried away early on with the atmosphere, but after that we needed to settle down, but we didn't. You know, we carried on, and really it could have been 3 or 4 at half-time anyway. That was my big disappointment at half-time, and I felt at some stage Southampton had to come back in it, but we scored straight away. As soon as we scored early on in the second half, I think that was it, really.
Now, Clive Mendonca has waited a long time to play in the top flight. He looked pretty at home this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, he's been struggling with his fitness. He hasn't played too much in the pre-season, and I took the decision last week to keep him on at Newcastle for as long as I could. Unfortunately, Andy Hunt had to come off, but you know, Clive needed as much time on the pitch as he could get, and I think it showed today. I think he's progressively getting stronger and quicker and fitter.
Would it be fair to say, I mean, history has proved in recent years that one of the hardest things for clubs coming up, particularly via the playoffs, is the opening few weeks. The fact that you got 4 points out of 6, is that sort of one of the worries out of your mind?
Well, we've had a good start. You know, I didn't realise until the weekend that David's side, Southampton, only had 4 points from 9 games last year and still managed to come 12th. So it is a long season. You know, we've had a decent start, but so did Crystal Palace last year. You know, and we are going to keep our feet firmly on the ground, but we can't deny the fact that we've had a great weekend, and let's enjoy it.
I think your feet will come back down to earth for the next couple of games. Arsenal away, Manchester United away.
Who knows? Who knows? Might still be flying.